guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Connector. I'm your connector, Arielle Levitt, and I'm here to connect you to people that want to help you succeed in life. If they help you succeed in life, it comes back tenfold. And that's what I love about networking and the power of connection and the power of working together with other people. And so I get to introduce you to Dmitriy Hanuka today, who started his business. And the way he does business is with such values and morals and consciousness, I would even say, like that it's attraction, right? Like people are like, oh my gosh, I want to do more business with you because I love how you do business. So Dmitry, come on board. Hi.
Oh, hi, Arielle.
Wonderful.
How are you?
So people are probably like, what? Well, what does he do for business? And then, all this stuff. But it's the compliments that you get in business of the trusting that people feel from you right away is so valuable. And trust is a hard thing. It's earned, not, what is the expression, right? It's earned, not given.
Right.
And you earn people's trust and you make sure you maintain people's trust as one of your core principles, I would say, in business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's one of the hardest things to get is the trust of another person, and one of the easiest things to lose. So you got to work exceptionally hard to get there. And I think once I develop trust with my customers, or in general, if people develop trust with their customers, it's smooth sailing from there, so to speak. Even if, let's say, the business itself, the interactions might not be perfect, but when two individuals or two businesses trust one another, they'll live through all the ups and downs together and they improve together. So trust is absolutely essential. It's the bond that I think brings success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, so let's talk about your business. I want to get into 3D media because starting a business, building a business, and all the things that go along with it, it's a whole show in production. And there's so many things that you're constantly strategizing and networking and working with others to come up with ideas and be creative. And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, so 3D media is a very interesting business because it's been evolving over the years. And we have started with providing virtual tours. That was, actually, the very first thing that we've done was websites, although that wasn't like a big thing. And then it's transitioned to virtual tours. There was a lot more business in virtual tours, and then kind of filled the gap in between. So between the virtual tours, we started adding other services like videography, photography, then general marketing and advertising, and kind of everything flowed together. So now it's a full suite of marketing and advertising services for small to medium to even large size businesses. And we constantly try to innovate and think of new ideas, what else we can add to basically enhance our customers' success and help them grow. So it's definitely been a moving target. I was talking to one of my employees the other day. He was asking me, so how would you identify us? Because we're doing so many things. I used to say we're, marketing agency, then advertising agency. Now I feel like the best way to call us is a growth agency. Mm-hmm. We try to help businesses grow.
Yeah. And I love that you really hold their hand. I was actually, as I'm taking notes, and talking to you, I'm like, you really enjoy training others and teaching others and holding hands, like about you want others to succeed. And that's why, obviously, one of the reasons why you're on this podcast. But it's so beautiful because it does take a lot of time to, out of time of your day where you easily could be doing something else or easily be, focusing more on your business in a way. But I also think, when you teach others, you learn so much more back to yourself too.
100%. It's definitely kind of learning on the job, so to speak. Anytime our customers bring us new problems to solve, when that problem is solved, it gets added to our library of knowledge, and then we can apply this new skill, new tool, whatever we've figured out for other businesses as well in different industries, different categories. So it's like a collective pool of knowledge from many different industries in relations to marketing and advertising and growth. So over the years, I've learned so much personally, all the tips and tricks and how to succeed on Yelp, how to succeed on Google, how to make the best website that has search engine optimization, etc. Yeah, definitely always learning experience.
I know one of your podcast episodes, we won't get too much into it because other people should listen to the episode, but you talk about like SEO is like not really real. It's a joke. And which is, and people, you guys can go look and listen to the episode because we'll just give like a little teaser of that because is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So SEO is a very hot topic. I just seen so many of my clients get burned through hiring SEO agencies. They get promised, it's like snake oil. They get promised, oh, we'll get your results, put your first page of Google. And in reality, Google and search engines in general have gotten so sophisticated, it's very hard to trick them into giving priority status to newcomers, especially. And who's generally are the ones that are seeking SEO? New businesses that are hungry for new leads. And SEO is absolutely the worst path for them to take. There's a organic way to get good search engine optimization, and that is usually through being relevant to other businesses, being relevant on the internet. But the way these SEO agencies try to go about it is trying to trick the search engine into thinking that their customer is important. And typically one of the most common ways they try to do that is to put backlinks on their of their client's website on a whole bunch of other websites to make the search engine think, oh, if they're being published on all these websites, they must be important. But that's a very short-term solution because Google is not stupid anymore. The algorithm and their crawling bots, they know which websites matter and which websites don't. And it's not easy to get published on a relevant, important website. For example, if you're just on some random directory, it means nothing. In fact, if there is a website that has 1,000 other websites on it, Google will flag that website. And for any links that basically figures out that this business is trying to trick them, and it might actually have negative results. They might blacklist the business for trying to trick the search engine into thinking they're important. Whereas on the other hand, if you get published on CNBC or on Wikipedia on something that is relevant, then you have importance. And how do you usually get to those places? By being interesting, by giving insight about your expertise. And that is more on the part of the business owner rather than some agency that just can randomly publish AI articles or whatever it may be. So the real way to do SEO is through organic growth. The best way to do SEO is not to focus on SEO, in fact. Focus on growing your business. Focus on being a better expert in your field, and then things will work out as a result. And with that said, you should still optimize your website to be friendly to search engines, meaning you have no errors, the website loads fast. And that's just a given. Anytime we, for example, develop a website for a customer, we try to make it SEO friendly, like search engine optimized in that regard. But there's no ongoing thing where we're going to publish articles and stuff like that, because that has to be done more by the business owner. The better effect would be if the business owner will do their own social media page with the relevant content that is true and true to them. People can see right through it when it's fake.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And so I was going to say, it's like organic, like non-GMO. We can't have any GMOs in there.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And people want to cut corners, and we just can't. It's interesting how Google has gotten so sophisticated, right? To now be able to know if you are using the GMOs, you guys. But it's and they really want loyalty. And I think loyalty goes back to how you do business, right? Like it's they want to see that you are not a new business, that you're consistent, right? Consistently posting, consistently active, consistently showing up with real content and a real message, and not just trying to link things and cut corners.
What you and I are doing, that's the real type of SEO. Like if we're coming up with a podcast that's informative and there's going to be content out of it, that's going to be relevant for others to watch, to listen to. that's what the search engine will respect and say, okay, that's unique content to this person, to Ariel, there's unique content to Dmitry. Let's push them up on the internet because they're actually doing stuff. They're doers. They're not just using ChatGPT or, like you said, cutting corners.
Yeah. It's so fascinating. And it's really fun that you've like figured this out, that you've played with this, figured it out, and now you want to teach others too, and also help others be successful in their businesses.
Yeah, I think anytime you figure out something that works for others, you can monetize it and make a business out of it. But it should never be about the profits. It should be, hey, I want to help somebody. If I can make money along the way, that's a good thing.
It's so important it's really helping others, right? Because then it just all comes back. It really does flow back. All right, so let's go back to 3D media for a second, and in teaching others, because I think it's one thing that really distinguishes you more so than other companies in a way, is that you listen to your employees, that you listen to feedback. You want to, like, you're not like, how do I say this? Like surrounding yourself or being the know-it-all, right? Like I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to work on this and then I'll teach you guys. No, you're like, okay, let's strategize together. And I was having a conversation with somebody recently. It's, when you want to level up or when you want to go to the next level, it's you surround yourself with people that are going to have those conversations to get those juices flowing and to get those thoughts happening. And how important it is to continue having those, like, make sure you surround yourself with people that have those conversations, which I know is something that you do. And you have your podcast now to help have those conversations and stimulate that content and that growth and the ideas and get things flowing. So let's talk about
when people exchange ideas, it's extremely important. Definitely, it's important to have humility, not to think that you know everything. And even I've had experiences where somebody comes in that has zero knowledge about the topic. They can give some kind of out of the box insight into the problem that you're trying to solve. And when people are closed-minded, they think, okay, they're on top of everything. They'll never see those innovations, never see those insights that otherwise would help them tremendously.
Do you find it difficult with your patients? Because I'm sure you've had to like practice this throughout the years, but like when you're listening to somebody's idea and you're like, okay, you're learning the industry, you're getting it. I like your idea, but we need to like hone in here. And I know you want to go off over here and do this. And we've tried that. And, so do you ever like feel, I don't know, I just like, how do you, because it can be a tough thing as a business owner, right? Because you also want to keep moving and want to get things, not waste really time spitballing ideas that have already been played before.
Well, that goes back to trust. So if somebody's hiring me for marketing or advertising, they should have a level of trust that I know the topic better than they do. That doesn't mean that I will not take their feedback. They can ask, because they more likely than not, they already tried it on their own and it didn't get them the results that they wanted, or they tried it with another company and the same result has happened. It's rare that somebody just comes out of the blue that's never done anything. But even in that case as well, they have no experience whatsoever. Again, goes back to trust, because I've done, let's say, within marketing, pretty much everything there is to do. Not everything, but you know what I mean. A lot of different strategies have been employed, and we kind of see what works and what doesn't. So when people trust us to do what we're supposed to do, it works a lot better for everybody. Again, doesn't mean that we wouldn't take their feedback. If they say they want to try it this way or that way, we can say, we can try it your way within these boundaries, within this scope. For example, when people say, I want to go on Google, and that's my number one priority, we can tell them, advise them, if that is absolutely something you wish to do, here's how we're going to get there. Here's the budget that you should put on the advertising. Or here's how you should present your website with landing pages. Whatever the path that the customer wants, we can kind of work around it. But ultimately, they do have to trust us. Otherwise, they're wasting money if they're hiring somebody and they don't trust the expert that they're giving the money to. And there are customers that are like absolutely so hands-on that they want it to be their way or the highway. And you have to be very polite But ultimately, you have to insist that if you feel like they're making the wrong decision, you do not want to go with them on that path, because what's going to end up happening is there will be very little success, and you're the one to blame at the end of the day, because even though they're the initiator, but you're the facilitator of whatever they wanted. So you have to be smart. There are instances where if somebody's too stubborn and they really want it their way or the highway, that we just have to say it's not a good fit.
And rejection. You have to do the rejection button. Sorry. Like we have to go different ways, which is it's hard to do in business, right? Because you want to keep somebody's business or have somebody's business, but you also want to deliver a true product.
Right.
And it's so important. It's a whole different area, right? Of learning this whole new, 20 years ago, we really didn't have SEO, or it wasn't as big of an issue or a thing. Social media has totally taken over, and in a great way. And it's been fantastic. Do you notice you still get a lot of customers from social media, but also from word of mouth? Or have you noticed more people Google like what they're looking for than ask their friends?
I think it's a big mix. We get referrals. We get people from the internet. Our core strength is advertising. So obviously we have to do advertising for ourselves as well. So we get a ton of new customers through our own advertising efforts, promoting our own services. And then it's very important to get the referrals out of the existing customers too, because it's very expensive to get a customer through advertising, but it's free essentially to get them through referrals. Maybe not free, because we try to go above and beyond, even if it costs us money to deliver exceptional service. Let's say we've negotiated a deal with somebody, we typically give them more than what they've negotiated, because we know that if they come out of this transaction happy and they feel like they got more than they paid for, then they'll refer a friend. And that's honestly, referrals are typically the best leads because they're easier to convert. The people are already coming in with trust built into it, because they trust the person that referred them, and it's a lot easier to work.
It's excuse me. It's so interesting because it's learning all these things in business, and it's where do you start? Like if you're a new business owner and you want to do all this SEO, and it's so important to do the SEO because you're trying to do word of mouth, right? Because you want to get that also, but you have to perform the services. It can take a little bit of time. A lot of people search very quickly. Like many people have a big budget for SEO. Is there something that business owners can do, like a little tidbit of something that could help boost them if they don't have a budget, or if they have a very small budget? Is it still available to them? Or I know you said you work from small, medium, and big businesses, but like everybody's definition of small is different, right? And some small businesses might be like, well, I'm a solo person with a TikTok and an Instagram, or I'm a small business, but I have 10 employees, so what would you suggest to somebody if they were trying to just kind of get a little bit of social media presence or SEO presence or something or can they work with you? Is that an option? I don't know. I'm just curious
So when people are starting out, I think the very first thing that they should do is make sure that they're delivering the best product possible. That's before they're trying to make a huge push for a lot of new clients. They have to make sure that what they're doing works, and it works really well. And then they try to scale that up. And once they're ready to scale it up, and once they're ready to grow rapidly, then the second thing they should do is probably advertising. I very, very rarely recommend focusing on SEO, as I mentioned earlier, because it simply doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work, as I mentioned earlier, because it's very difficult to trick search engines to favor you now. It's so congested on the internet. There's so much noise. The companies that get good rankings on Google and the like are the ones that are massive. So if you Google virtually any topic, you're going to see probably Wikipedia, where you're going to see Yelp, you're going to see like news agencies, you're going to see the top big companies, or like let's say you search for diapers, you're going to see like Pampers there or Huggies. You're not going to see the new guy on the block that came out with diapers. It's very rare. The only time it would work and it would be smart to do something like this is if you have a very, very narrow niche that nobody else is focusing on, something truly innovative. Then there is a reasonable chance for you to do something where you might get good rankings relatively quickly on Google organically. But 99% of the time, it's better just to invest in ads. If you have a good campaign running, you'll have immediate results. Like the first month that you launch the ads, you'll get leads coming your way. And it's way better money, way better spent. Even though some people might assume, in 12 months and 24 months, if you keep pushing like with SEO, you'll get organically. Yeah, that's an assumption that you're willing to make, that something might happen way, way further down the line. Don't think about SEO. Focus on just organic growth through improving your business and then advertising it.
Yeah.
And SEO will happen on its own, so to speak. Again, make the best website you possibly can that's friendly with the search engines, that you're not going to get dinged for errors, you're not going to get dinged for poor visuals or not having a good sitemap. That's that's fundamental thing. But actively trying to trick the search engine to give you good rankings, that's a very flawed and bad idea for most businesses.
It's so funny. It's so different than everybody's thinking, right? It's opposite of what everybody hears. And so,
because they've been conditioned by a lot of SEO agencies to think that way, because the SEO agencies make money, and it's usually, I hear story after story how people get burned, paying somebody monthly fee for SEO and getting zero results.
Because normally they say like, oh, you should give it 3 months and then you'll get some results. And
snake oil.
And then people give it 3 months and then they're out. Usually it's about $1,500 or so, I think, like is what I hear, at least, or maybe that's for TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. But, so like it's as a small business, and that's what I'm saying, like as a single provider where it might just be let's say an acupuncturist who has her own business and is trying to get clients. It's a hard thing for that person that it can be.
Well, let's define SEO so we're on the same page. What's SEO in your mind?
Well, ranking on Google, I guess. But then I do combine it now with TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. But that's not SEO, is it?
I mean, you can view the social media as a type of search engine, but it kind of isn't. And you can't really trick social medias to favor you unless you produce good content. Similarly, with the search engine, unless you're producing good content, you can't really trick it anymore into thinking that you're important. Think of it on TikTok. Which video is going to get the most likes? The ones that are engaging with the customers, or the ones that have the best hashtags?
Engaging, right? Because the people want to send it. They want to send. Yeah.
Having good hashtags for a good video is important. But if you don't have a good video, it means nothing. It's like having the best carriage possible and no horse in front of it. Yeah, it's that's the analogy I would take. And again, if you're on social media, focus number one: make your content relevant, make your content important, and then you can think about other things. And sometimes, like, things get progressed naturally as well.
Yeah, no, it's so important. So I don't know if I want to talk about this a little bit, because I know you didn't just start in social media. You've learned this. You've studied it. You have always been in business. Business is your, what you eat, live, and breathe in a way too. Like it's purpose, right? When we all have something to do in the world and contribute to the world, it gives us purpose. And helping others and allowing other businesses to succeed. So before you got into 3D media, I don't even know if I know this, but can we talk about it? I don't know. Sure. What led you into 3D media?
Before that, I had a job at a company called Gigastone. I was director of product management there. It was like basically developing products and helping market them. And the products were all revolving around memory. That was the basically the memory cards and USB drives, SD cards, all this stuff, memory related to any devices. And when I came on, it was an older company that was primarily doing stuff for computers, like USB drives. They just started doing like for cameras, but they didn't have anything for mobile devices. And I don't know if you remember, I used to have a company called GripSense. Mm. And GripSense was basically an iPad case, and I was trying to build that brand around mobile devices. So when I met the owner of or the president of Gigastone America, he really liked what I did more than the product itself, how I promoted it and how I developed the product. So he kind of bought my company in order for me to join theirs and help them build a product line that was geared towards mobile devices, something more modern. And that's how I joined in there. And I worked there for a few years, and I had, I'd say, reasonable amount of success there. We went through all around the country doing trade shows, developed a product line that was geared towards smartphones. And I think we've had like one of the very first drives to backups of your iPhone. So you could plug in like a drive. I think I still have it somewhere here. You could plug, hold on. Do I have it here? No, I have it somewhere else. But you could plug it into an iPhone and back everything up, which is it was very cool at the time because there was no cloud storage back then. iCloud didn't come out yet, and people would run out of storage on their phone. They had to back it up on the computer, and this was a very easy and convenient way to bypass all of that. And we even got it to Apple. It was in major retailer stores, I think in Walmart and Target. But there was always a ceiling to how much I could reach there, because when you're working for somebody else, there's always a ceiling. The time came, it was very appropriate to try something else. And that's when I started 3D Media. And I was very much dedicated to the idea that I did not belong in another company. I wanted to run something the way I wanted to run it. Which would not have the priorities of just pure profits but more like helping other businesses and doing something that is very relevant in the industry. So at the time, I started doing websites because I already had a relationship with a website developer that I worked with prior that helped me build the GripSense website. But that wasn't like a big thing. So when I saw the opportunity to do virtual tours, I jumped right on that. And then it kind of grew from there.
You really are a forward thinker. You're looking at like, what's next? How can we improve people's lives? What can we do to help people? And I think that's really where ideas in business start, right? Like that's your problem solving. It's great if you come out with another, whatever it is, but it's even better when you come out with a problem. Okay. I don't know if that is your side or my side, but it's great when you are solving somebody's problem, right? Because we all have these next levels and next things that we need to move past. And when we can help problem solve for other people and give them the tools to then move, like in a little game, Nintendo, move to the next level and go on to the next one. So it's so important that we all like think about how we can problem solve for others a little bit too, and help enhance other people's worlds or business.
Yeah, that was actually the topic of our last podcast that we did was
I didn't even know
entrepreneurship and how to start a business. And the biggest message was, if you're starting a business, you have to solve somebody's problem. Mm-hmm. If you're not solving a problem, then you're not going to be very successful at what you're doing. It's like the very core principle is, what problem are you solving? Is this a big problem to solve? And the bigger the problem that you're solving, then the bigger the business is going to be. And for me at the time was the problem was and it still kind of exists today, that it's difficult to view properties in person. You cannot be in multiple places at the same time. Whereas you can jump on the computer and view 5, 6, 7 properties in a heartbeat in the convenience of your home or office. And people, especially after the pandemic, it enabled people to make offers on homes remotely and securely without exposing themselves to the elements conveniently. And it's a really amazing technology. And then all the other things, all the other services that we do, they all solve a problem, whether it's getting advertising because you need more exposure, whether it's developing a website because you need some kind of presence on the internet, whether it's getting photography because you need to be presentable to online on a business card and print, whatever it may be. Yeah, it's always about solving a problem. And we're always looking for new problems to solve. For example, one of the new services that we're rolling out is IT service. It's not like a new thing, but it just goes very hand in hand with what we're already doing, because we have a lot of businesses that we work with, and it's just a matter of adding a new service that will enhance our business, our customers' business.
It's so fantastic, and it's so nice that you give people so much knowledge with the podcast that you have now going on. And so where can everybody stay connected with you and get connected with you so they can learn more about all your knowledge that you want to share, that you are sharing with the world?
Our website, I think, is the gateway to all of our social media pages and all the content. That's 3dmedia.com. And then after that, it would be great if people check us out on YouTube, check us out on Instagram. That's where we are very actively posting now. We just published the podcast to Spotify, to Apple. No, I think, did we do Apple? No, we're still working on publishing to Apple, but it's on Spotify and Amazon.
Fantastic. It's so exciting. It's really good information. You and your co-host are just fantastic. And I suggest everybody go check it out. If you hear something in this episode that you were like, oh my gosh, I need to share with a friend, I want to post about, I want to reach out to Dmitry, whatever it is, do it. Take action, and we appreciate it. Share, like, subscribe, all the things with the podcast. It really does help other listeners get to know the podcast and know and meet all these really cool people that are doing really cool things. All right. I will look forward to seeing you all next week for a whole new episode. Injured in a car accident, on the job, or just playing a game of pickleball? MedAmerica is the #1 clinic in physical therapy, occupational therapy, and chiropractic needs, specializing in sports, post-surgical, and orthopedic conditions. Located in Deerfield Beach, MedAmerica is here to help you get back feeling better than you did before. Visit their website at medamericarehab.com. That's med, America, AMERICA, rehab, REHAB.com. Mention the connector to receive 10% off any self-pay service. Today's podcast is sponsored by Pod Populi. Have you ever thought of starting a podcast? Not sure where to start? Pod Populi makes it easy. With over 20 podcast studio locations nationwide, they host over 100 podcasts. Pod Populi is a full-service podcasting studio with video and audio production. They help you put your idea into the best podcast. Visit podpopuli.com to book your time to talk to an expert on getting started. That's podpopuli.com and mention the connector for 10% off your first year.